loves pizza, but it can be a bit time consuming to make, which is why today I'm going to show you how to make bread pizza. It's got loads of toppings and of course lots of cheese, so let's get started with the recipe. Every pizza starts with a great sauce, and that's exactly what we're going to start the recipe with. So here in this pan, I'm going to add just about a teaspoon of oil, about 3 cloves of garlic that have just been minced finely. Just let that become a little fragrant. A teaspoon of chili flakes. And now to this, I'm going to add some tomato puree. So if you have about 4 medium-sized tomatoes, you can puree that and just add that to the pan. Now to this, I'm going to add some salt and pepper, oregano. Give that a good mix. Now leave this on a medium-high flame, and every now and then just give it a stir. What we're looking for is for this to reduce by half. Now, as you can see, this sauce has reduced beautifully. All the water from it has evaporated, and what we're left with is just a pure concentration of flavors. So I'm just going to take this off the heat and put it into a bowl. So while the sauce cools down, I'm quickly going to saute up some mushrooms in this pan. Again, about a teaspoon of oil. And I'm just going to add some button mushrooms that have been sliced up. These are about 6 to 8 button mushrooms. And what I'm looking for is to just cook this on a high heat. The mushrooms have got a nice roast. You see they've browned up really nicely. And I've not added any salt, but that's intentional. I'm going to take it off the heat. Let it cool slightly and then add salt and pepper. Now that the mushrooms have cooled down, I'm just going to add a bit of salt and pepper. Just mix that around. I've got my oven preheating to 175 degrees Celsius, and now all we have to do is assemble the bread pizza together. I've got 4 slices of white bread, but you can use any bread of your choice. And the first step is to add a layer of sauce. Now the next layer is a layer of mushrooms. Now I'm going to add some corn that's already been boiled, so you don't need to do anything more to it. Now is my favorite part of the toppings. I'm going to add some green capsicum and red and yellow bell peppers that have been chopped up. I'm just going to mix them up really well and just top it up on the bread pizza. I love olives on pizza, so I'm just going to add some black olives. Now is everyone's favorite part, the cheese. So I've got some shredded mozzarella. The bread pizza is absolutely ready for the oven right now, where it needs to bake for about 10 to 15 minutes. The cheese has melted, the bread has crisped up, and our bread pizza is absolutely ready. Now you can sprinkle this with whatever you like. I'm going to go with some oregano and just a hint of some chili flakes. This bread pizza is a great option for nights when you don't feel like cooking an elaborate meal, but still want something fancy.
Beetroot cutlet. So for that, I have taken half a kg of beetroot which I have boiled, peeled, and now we'll mash it. To this mashed beetroot, I'm going to add 3 boiled potatoes and mash this as well. Now I'm going to add a tablespoon of chili powder. I'm going to add some salt, a teaspoon of garam masala powder, and I'm going to add a cup of breadcrumbs, and I'm going to mix this well. To this I'm going to add some lemon juice of half a lemon. Mix this again and then we'll make the stuffing. So for the stuffing, I have taken half a kg of cottage cheese paneer, to which I'm going to add 3 to 4 green chilies that I have finely chopped. I'm going to add half a cup of finely chopped coriander and some salt. Mix this really well. Our stuffing is ready as well, so let's make the beetroot cutlets now. Now to make the cutlets, I've taken a fistful of the potato and beetroot mash. I'm going to flatten it in my palms. I'm going to put a spoonful of the cottage cheese filling in this. Cover it. And then I'm going to gently pat it and flatten it as well, giving it a nice round shape. Keep it aside. Now let's make the cutlets in a similar way with the remaining mixture. Pat it again to flatten it up slightly. I've already placed a pan over here to heat. I'm going to pour in some oil. And now I'm going to coat these cutlets with breadcrumbs. And then I'm just going to gently fry them on both sides till they're nice and crisp. Let's flip these. These cutlets are slightly delicate, so you have to handle them with care. We have fried them nice and crisp on both the sides. Now let's remove them in a serving platter. Let's sprinkle some chaat masala on these cutlets and serve it with some nice fresh green chutney. This dish looks really colorful and is amazing to taste as well. Beetroot is always healthy, so is cottage cheese. Today I'm going to show you a wonderful recipe using corn on the cob. And I'm going to make a nice onion sauce that will go on it, and you can serve it as a starter or you can eat it any which way you like. So to make this onion sauce, I'm going to heat 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil. Once the oil is heated up, I'm going to saute 3 finely chopped onions. I'm going to saute the onions till they're nice, soft and pink. I'm not going to let the color change. I want my sauce to be nice and white. The onions have become nice and pink and soft. Now I'm going to add ginger, garlic and green chili paste. 3 teaspoons of this. So for this, I took 1 inch of ginger, 6 to 7 cloves of garlic and 5 green chilies. I ground it to a nice fine paste. Now to this, I'm going to add some cashew nut paste. I took about 10 to 12 cashew nuts. I soaked them in warm water and I've made it into a nice fine paste. I'm going to add this to the onions. Saute it till the oil separates. Once you add the cashew paste, reduce the flame to a medium or a low because we don't want our cashew paste to get burnt. And now I'm going to add 3 to 4 tablespoons of cream. Mix this well. I'm going to add some salt. Our sauce is almost done. Let us shut the flame and then let's squeeze in some lemon juice. Half a lemon is good enough. The sauce is cooled down. I'm going to grind this to a nice fine paste. I'm going to just pour this sauce out in a bowl. Here I've already boiled some corn. I took 2 corns, I cut it into 1 inch thick slices and then I boiled them with salt. Now I'm going to place this on a serving platter and I'm going to pour this sauce on it. Sprinkle some chaat masala. Just sprinkle some freshly chopped coriander. Some chili flakes to add a little color to your dish. And now I'm just going to dig in the toothpick so it's easy for us to pick up the corn on the cob and have it. So our corn on the cob with an onion sauce is ready. The vibrant colors, the yellow, the green, the white and red is looking awesome. The dish is definitely going to taste good.
What I'm going to make now is one of my simple favorite recipes that I always do when I've got a group of friends coming over or just as a snack. It's called crumb fried stuffed mushrooms. And if you have an excellent chilled something along with it, it just gets better. Just watch how I'm going to do it. I've got oil heating up here and I've got button mushrooms, the regular variety out here. And did you know mushrooms in fact have got 95% water, which is why it's very healthy to make, very easy to make, and the taste is awesome. So I've got the top caps here and the bases, the stems I'm going to use for the stuffing. So I'm taking the stems out. Let's choppy the onion. As finely as possible. In fact, I think it's a large onion, so half is good enough. Let's get this heating up and I'm going to add a small dollop of butter to this and some plain oil. Next is my favorite ingredient, garlic into this. Let's saute. A little bit of my chili peppers, that goes in. Lovely. As soon as this is sauteing, I'm putting in my onions. Lovely. And now with the stems, again chop. So just sweating my onions, not literally browning them or not coloring them. So I'm just going to make a nice chopped mixture of my stems, so not wasting a single bit of the mushrooms. Once the mushrooms are done, they go in. See, look at my cleaver, you know, cleaver is the best piece of equipment that I find in kitchen. Such a variety of uses. You can use it to lift it, to chop it, and if you're going to make too much sound, I mean my cameraman, I can use it for that as well. For the time being, I'm using it for cooking. A little bit more of the butter. To that, finely chopped celery stalks. Celery really goes well with the mushrooms. So some nice celery. You don't want the bits of celery coming onto your palate. That goes in for the flavor. Along with that, just hold the thyme in the opposite direction, remove the side stems, and then in one single motion just trim off the leaves like this. Look at that. Basil and some dried oregano to this. A bit of toasted white sesame to give it a nice nutty aroma. Once again, we'll just have all this mixture coming together. Now there's one special thing that I do with this is I'm going to open a packet of cream and I'm going to add cream to it just to bind it. Just a hint of cream, not to make a creamy paste, but just to bind it that ways. So the entire mushrooms, onions, garlic is now all coming together. To this, a little bit of mustard. And once this is done, I'm going to put this off, mix everything nicely together. It's time for some cheesy stuff. I mean, it's time to add some cheese. So, grated cheese, you can use cheddar, anything that you like, but not a very hard cheese that doesn't melt. So my stuffing is almost ready. Time for some grounded pepper. So freshly crushed pepper. Mix it through. The reason I added cheese off the heat is because I just want it to melt just enough to hold everything together but not melt totally. And now for the tasting. Quite nice. A little bit of salt required, not too much. And my gorgeous stuffing is ready. And I've got the mushroom caps here. But just to make sure that my mushroom takes in maximum stuffing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to core it slightly from inside. Just trying to ensure that there's maximum flavor inside. Ensuring it's not breaking from the sides. Just make sure you're doing this with the spoon and not with a knife. You take a good spoonful of the stuffing and fit it tightly with the help of a spoon. Just making sure that it's all even inside. Nicely stuffed. Lovely. Be very generous when you're stuffing it because that is where all the taste is. This is done. What is next? Next is, I'm just going to break an egg into this mix. Pour in a little bit of refined flour, or even if you have corn flour, you can use it. Some mustard once again, oregano, paprika, salt, cracked pepper, and now with my special ingredient for this recipe, some Cajun seasoning. This you normally find on all supermarket shelves. Gives a nice tart, tangy taste to your mushroom. And mind you, this has got a lot of salt. So be very careful when you're seasoning this. Just beat it lightly. Once lightly beaten, this is to coat my mushrooms. So we have taken some nice breadcrumbs. I'm now going to add a bit of the black sesame. Just mix it through. Just making sure that when my mushrooms are coated, they've got a good sesame flavor. Double coating the mushrooms. So look at this gorgeous mushrooms. In fact, now until I cut through them, I cannot even make out their mushrooms. So now these mushrooms have to be fried in a really hot oil, because if the temperature is less, what's going to happen is with slow cooking the heat is going to go inside and the entire cheese is going to come out. Just rolling the mushrooms over in oil so they are nicely fried from all sides, and look at that. Isn't it tempting? This is frying. I'm going to take a bit of my mayonnaise, a bit of tomato puree into this, some salt. See, that's when you're hearing the crackling, which means the heat is going through and through. So with this, I'm just going to mix it through nicely. They're nice, crisp, golden brown from all sides. Lovely. So I'm taking it all out on absorbent paper. So if there's any extra oil that has seeped through, look at this color. Wow. They're not looking like mushrooms, they're just looking as if they are hail bombs dropped directly from the heaven, all for us. So the mushrooms are ready here. So I'm just taking this mayonnaise now. So there's one from this side and one from the other side. So some smoky barbecue sauce. Same on this side. And next is the mustard. Just a thin line of the mustard, not too much because it's quite pungent. Now with the mushrooms, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them into half. So just one nice hit. Are you ready? Just look at that. Nice stuffed mushrooms. Same with this. Nice and big. This is for me. Again here. Nice hot oil. I'm just putting a bit of thyme to crisp it up. On the paper. Some nice thyme out here. So my lovely crumb fried stuffed mushrooms are ready. Succulent in the center with cheese and mushrooms, and a nice crisp outside. Ça va bien. Where's my beer?